Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
I'm Glennon Doyle, author of Untamed and host of the podcast We Can Do Hard Things. Each week, we talk openly and honestly about the hard things in life together with you. So join us and some of our dearest friends and greatest heroes to talk about anxiety, boundaries, parenting, infidelity, our bodies, loving and losing, all of the things that make us human. Listen to and follow We Can Do Hard Things on Odyssey and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's Miles. Thank you guys for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast.
Have you heard our newest podcast? It's called The Greatest Story Never Told.
Download it today on radio.com. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded every Tuesday at noon.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to season 16 and episode number 3,481. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. And Tim are in the Men's Room. On tap today is a 3-day weekend inspired Bad Choice Friday. The return of Ted versus the FCC. Plus headlines, Men's Room Shot of the Day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
The clap, drink it to drunk.
All right, here we go. Police are stunned after pulling over a small hatchback and discovering that 9 people are inside. 24-year-old breaks into a 73-year-old's house. Then the 24-year-old gets his ass beat and cried. Man steals $1,300 worth of anti-balding supplements and nicotine gum. Another man takes scooter wrong way on Boston Highway, which is not safe and completely dumb. And a California couple decide to give back with a big wad in a diaper. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, Memorial Day weekend is here, and with that, like every year at this time, the people out there are predicting plenty of cars on the road, especially this year after last year. So you can expect extra police on the roads and the inexplicably high gas prices. But you can also expect some really, really, really bad driving. And I don't mean the bad driving that you're already used to, but according to a new survey, 37% of drivers say that after the last year, they've completely forgotten how to drive. I'm not making this up. This is what they say. Now, a lot of respondents are okay to not drive because the idea now freaks them out. Well, that's very comforting, knowing that the roads will be crowded again. But look, I get it. Sometimes there's things you psych yourself up and you don't want to do it. Like a lot of times I find myself somewhere that has a cable car, right? You go on vacation, there's a cable car. They say, do you want to get on it? And I hem and haw, but I only hem and haw because I'm delaying the inevitable. No, I don't want to. And now I probably never will after a cable car in Italy fell about 1,000 feet into a mountain, killing 14 people last week. The cable snapped, and that's all she wrote. Other people are skydiving. Look, I've been skydiving before. I would actually like to do it again. And then I hear about what they call a legendary skydiver who died in a midair collision with another skydiver last week. According to the report, he, quote, landed hard in a parking lot. And by landed hard, they mean he smashed into the planet Earth. Now, sure, these are extreme examples, so maybe we should just dial things back. Go to a simple pleasure like, who doesn't want to take their kids to Disney World? I mean, other than long lines, what could go wrong? I'm sorry, what's that? Oh, your 2-year-old was eaten by an alligator on Disney property. Okay, well, maybe I don't want to go back to Disney World. Hey, the good news is that happened like 8 years ago, and since then, Disney's been very diligent removing 223 additional alligators from their fountains and their ponds and their lagoons in that time. Before that, they'd only removed 23, but now they know it's a problem because a kid was eaten at Disney World. But look, sometimes things happen that kind of tell you, I don't need to do this again. It could be something as simple as babysitting or moving or skiing or visiting a foreign country. We don't know, but today we have a fill-in-the-blank question for you. Today we want to know what happened to make you never want to do blank again.
Be part of the big show. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chev.
We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
All the shows and away we go. Welcome to season 16, episode number 3,481. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat on this lovely Friday. Exciting return of Ted versus the FCC. Man, Ted, were we up late last night? Coming up with tongue twisters, rhymes and riddles. And do you know what happened this morning when we came into work? You're not going to believe this because we were up to about 3 o'clock. We didn't get any emails from listeners. All right. On Ted versus the FCC. Mm-hmm. Might be the first time in like 5 or 6 years.
I mean, we have 1,000 to choose from, so it's okay.
So we're actually going to go with one that we created on our own.
Yeah.
Right. Crazy. I mean, this is the first time that I can even remember. I mean, it's got to be years.
I'm glad that it worked out this way because I'm telling you, every Thursday night, the work that we put in, how late we sit, how terrible we feel today in an effort to put on a good show, and the listeners beat us to it. But not this week. Oh, no.
And Ted, you're having a hell of a year. I don't know what your record is, but it's like, I think you've only lost twice. It's like 14-2 or somewhere in that vein.
Got cocky the last time.
It's an unbelievable year on Ted versus the FCC.
Mike got cocky.
Yeah. And then, of course, we'll drink and toast in the weekend. It's going to be a good 3-day weekend for you. So we have a Memorial Day inspired 3-day weekend Bad Choice Friday for you today.
You know it's Bad Choice Friday. It's Bad Choice Friday. You know it's Bad Choice Friday. Hey, man, this is your fault.
And you're going to hate us because it features Rebecca Black.
It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Friday. Getting down on Friday.
What's wrong, Ted?
That song just sucks.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm. Rebecca Black, one and done, I believe, with her, right? Just one song.
No, I just read earlier this week that, and I've never heard this song all the way through. I've heard about this much, and that's all I needed. But I read earlier this week she's releasing a new song or something like this. It was something like either an album or a song. I don't know anything about
this. She was like a teenager. So I think now
she's
trying to, now she's like 18 or 19. Okay. She's like, I want to make real music too.
Rebecca Black and Friday taking on the guys in Loverboy.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
The winner. The Hosers from Canada.
Are they from Canada?
Oh, my God, yeah. Would you dress like that if you were from the United States?
Nah, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, they're absolutely, absolutely Canadian. I mean, they had the leather tuxedo before the Canadian tuxedo took hold, didn't they? The red leather tuxedo. Mike Reno. Here's how you vote on our Bad Choice Friday for today. All you got to do is follow us on Twitter at Men's Room Live and vote for either Rebecca Black and Friday or Loverboy and Working for the Weekend.
Yeah, either one. Go ahead. You vote.
Pick one. You pick one. Trying to make it easy for you today. Maybe your brain won't have to work as hard. And today on our question, we're doing a Men's Room blank question. What happened to make you never want to do blank again? And we start here as research now reveals that Americans are terrified of driving after a lack of practice during the pandemic. And
are they under the impression that they were doing a bang-up job before the virus hit?
I don't know exactly, because we live here in Seattle, and as you know, traffic is always kind of a bitch. It seems like the last month it has progressively gotten a lot worse
Absolutely.
out there.
Yeah,
you get the
sure.
idea just based on the way people drive that they have not had a lot of practice. I really just think that they're terrible drivers. But either way, I mean, that's just me being old and curmudgeon-y, like get out of my way. But either way, Americans are terrified of driving after a lack of practice. I will say this. There have been a couple times in my life when I've been terrified of driving. Once when I snuck the car out when I was like 14, 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty terrified that night. Another couple nights where I stole a car maybe. There was, I didn't steal it. I borrowed my stepfather's car that he didn't know.
That's called stealing.
Yeah, I stole it. I mean, it wasn't, I didn't have the permission. I was just nervous.
Yeah,
as hell.
that's called theft.
And then after that, I think it was the first couple of wrecks that I got in that were pretty substantial. I really was pretty trepid when I started driving again. Like, I slowed down. Same thing with getting a speeding ticket. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, it just...
But a speeding ticket's not like PTSD. It's not traumatic. It's just, I don't want to lose more cash. But you have an accident. I'll tell you what, man. Flew back to the East Coast, I don't remember any years ago, but there was a massive rainstorm, and the rain there is different than it is here. And it was like being in a submarine. And I'm like, we got to get off the road. You can't physically see through the windshield.
Which is sometimes the most dangerous place to be.
Or driving over the pass anytime it snows. Like, to me, that's the last place I want to be in this state when the weather turns bad. Like, I just don't want to be in the pass. I don't care where else I am. The pass is a nightmare.
Right. And as far as driving goes, there's all kinds of different elements involved that make things more difficult than the other. Now, the last time when my wife got a flat tire, I could not change the tire because I could not figure out where the spare tire was. But the time before that where I actually got a flat tire, I was on the side of the road, and the tire that busted was my driver's side rear left tire. Okay?
Yeah.
So just the idea, I remember saying to myself at this point in time, because it was on an interstate, I had pulled over as far as I possibly could at this point.
As far as you can.
There
sure.
was still about 4 feet behind my foot, you know what I mean, as far as I'm facing the tire. It felt like 2 feet with the cars going by. I almost felt like I could feel the car's tires almost run over my feet. And at that moment in time, I really said to myself, I got to get AAA. Mm-hmm. It's not that I'm not physically able to change a tire in the right situations. Other situations, it might just be better to be towed off of this interstate first.
No, I agree.
And then change my tire on my own.
It was I5. Same thing. You feel the cars rumble by, but I distinctly remember an 18-wheeler going behind me. And that was a different feel because when it goes by, you actually feel the drag of it.
Yeah.
Like it's sucking your shirt into like the cars go by and your shirt just kind of blows. The truck went by and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Like,
it's a dangerous spot to be on the side.
It is.
Well, and they always tell you that. And of course, as I'm changing the tire, all those things that you hear about it, that's the only time it goes to your brain. Like, statistically speaking, this is the one chance you have the best to get hit.
Yeah, I know 2 people that were in car accidents, were on the side of the road. Their car was getting on the tow truck, and somebody just plowed in behind.
Exactly.
Them.
And you read it all the time. Somebody's changing a tire on the side of the road, they get hit, you know, they don't make it. Or the idea of, hell, there was a Washington State Department of Transportation truck pulled over yesterday, and somebody slammed into the back of it. A woman who was driving impaired, like in a minivan or whatever. Just completely, front of her car is gone. I saw a picture of it. And it's just, you're on the side of the road. It's a dangerous place to be. I mean, it's just one of those things that freaks me out.
But it really shouldn't be because you're on the side of the road, you know, because it always leads to me to lives. I'm walking through downtown like, well, technically I'm on the side of the road. We just call it a sidewalk. But if you're driving down the side of the road, the sidewalk doesn't mean anything either.
Right. And I'll tell you what, I used to, there'd be, it's just speaking of being on the road, I do have a scooter and I still have my bicycle. Now, if I can help it, I will not drive on the road with my bicycle. If I can figure out a way to take like the Burt Gilman Trail around, or if I'm going to go out for a leisurely ride, I'd rather not share too much of it with other cars. And the reason being is just that, first of all, even when I'm in my car, I hate bicyclists. So
Sure. But I always ride on the street, man. That's all my father said, if you can't ride on the street, don't ride your bike.
Well, to me, it's not. I mean, depending on where to me, it's more now of a leisure activity instead of going from point A to point B.
Sure.
So I can kind of dictate how much time I can spend on the road. Like if I just want to go take a ride, there's enough trails around here where
if you can ride
it's a little bit safer.
To get to the trail, ride on
without question.
The street.
Without question. But it's just one of those things. Same thing with a scooter. Last 2 times I was on the scooter, and I have not warmed that thing up in probably about 6 months. I almost died just based on people pulling out in front of me. So he was like, dude, you ride your scooter anymore? I'm like, it's been a while. And it's not that anything is...
Somebody here says a tow truck driver just died last week while on the side of the road in Washington.
Right. And that's why I said, I doubt that I really want to do this anymore if I don't have to. I'd rather call AAA and have that thing, and hopefully they'll show up. So our question today, what happened to make you never want to do blank again? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Justin. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, happy Friday, everybody.
Positive Friday. So what are you never going to do again?
Yeah, we're right here.
Okay, so I was in the military in 2008 and took some much-needed vacation, R&R, and me and a couple buddies, we went down to Hawaii. And we went to Oahu, and they have I'm going to mispronounce it, it's called Hanama Bay.
All right.
Secluded bay. They tell you got to watch this video about it, and then they tell you the tide goes out, don't worry about the tide, there's shark nets, safe, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, great.
Wait, what do you mean yada, yada, yada? If I have to watch a video and you're telling me about tides, like, there's no yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was a good swimmer, and I was like, I get to swim, there's going to be the giant sea turtles, you take some pictures. So I was like, I'm confident in my swimming abilities, I'll be okay. So I get this camera, the underwater camera, and I'm snorkeling out there, and I see these bright fish, and I'm like, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to go down a bit. So I'm about 8 to 10 feet under the surface of the water. I'm taking these pictures. I see, like, this shadow off to my right. I turn really quick, and no lie, this 4, 5, 6 foot moray eel's head is about a foot from me. He does that, like, hissing. I dropped the camera. I pissed myself. Swam up and swam to the shore. I was passing like little kids and everybody. I was straight to the shore. Got up.
They have so many teeth.
Like, where's your camera? I was like, it's out there. I'm not doing this anymore. Go get it. Nope. Not going in the water. I didn't go in the water for the next 14 days while we were there.
If you spent 2 weeks in Hawaii and you did not get back in the water because of that moray eel?
I still have not been back in the ocean.
Really?
The ocean freaks me out.
I mean,
I'm not too far past y'all.
Well, sure, but what if we went to the beach now, right? Ocean Beach. We're all going to just waist deep. Are you still hesitant to get in, or would you?
So I went to Ocean Shores a couple months ago, rather, and had my stepson with me. I went up to my knees, and I was like, "Nope, done." And I went right back on the shore.
So the moray eel, though, that was the one. So how many you were someone who was in the water often? I'm guessing before the moray eel accident, and that basically sealed it for you.
Yeah, I mean, I went through waterborne training in the Rangers. I did all the swimming. I grew up swimming I'm from Jersey. I grew up at Seaside and everything. No problems. But, once I saw that thing, and I was like, it just came out of nowhere.
You know what?
The mouth is, I can't imagine. It's just, I'm not going back.
I think I would stay in the water in New Jersey more than I would be on the beach, just because of the size of those horseflies that are like in Red Bank all the way down to Seaside Heights, all the way down to Long Beach Island. If you get bit by a horsefly there, you'll stay in the water the entire time. I saw a moray eel.
They're like 2 inches big.
They're ugly. They got lots of teeth, man. They are bigger than you think they are. They're wide. I mean, they look at you and it looks like they're smiling at you, but they're not.
Now, first of all, look.
It's almost like it hit.
You recognize...
The moray of the story is, I'm not doing it.
But you recognize that as a moray eel, and you left, right?
Yeah.
You got out of the water. Now, Miles' wife, as I understand it, was telling Miles about the fish that kept smiling at her as she was taking pictures, and Miles didn't have the heart to tell her, like, I think those things were trying to kill you.
So we were in the Dominican. There's definitely a ledge at that point.
Yeah, the continental shelf.
In the Caribbean, and it's not too far off from the beach. And it gets dark. It drops off, and you can see the current running along the beach. And the current is flying. And you see all these particles, and you see all these little fish and shadows, and then bigger fish chasing those smaller fish or whatever. But either way, there's a giant wall out there. And she's got the underwater disposable camera, and she's taking these pictures. And we still have those pictures somewhere, but she taps me on the shoulder and she says, "You got to come over here. This fish is smiling at me." And I said, "Okay, well," and it was in a hole in the wall, And,
I cannot believe that as an adult, she thought an eel is smiling at her. Like,
as I can see down the side of the wall and see her floating and looking into the wall, I see a number of moray eels coming in and out of this wall like whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
They come out, they go in. They come out, they go in. You know what I mean? It's just like this constant thing, and she's not paying attention to any of this. She's taking pictures. So I'm wondering, okay, what is she actually looking at? It's probably not an eel. Well, I go up there and I look, and it's a frickin' eel. And I mean, this thing has got its mouth open, it's got all its teeth showing, and it's basically coming in and coming out. And I'm like, I just grabbed her arm, and then I started swimming her ass out of there. And I mean, I am kicking. I am flying to the beach to the point where when I got on the shore, I'm about hyperventilating. And I'm probably the same place you were. Just like, "Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. What the hell are you doing? What is wrong with you?" She's like, what? I'm like, "That is a frickin' moray eel." Well, later on in the trip, there was some fishermen who were actually fishing for the eels, and they had a 5-gallon bucket like you get at Home Depot out there, putting their bait in and everything else, and they had a couple eels in there. And I told the guy, I said, "Hey, man, pull one of those out," because they were already dead, to show her. And he pulled this thing out, and like the caller said, 4 or 5 feet long, probably 4 or 5 inches thick, and the mouth on that thing, it looked like you would want to be bit by any other animal on this planet than that eel, because you couldn't believe just how big its mouth was and how many teeth were in such a small area. It was insane.
It just, the thing about it, and I'm sorry, I know it's your wife, but like, look, you're a grown adult. More than that, you work in the veterinary world, right? So your knowledge of animals goes beyond that of the average
not
person.
So much. Yeah,
but like, most animals aren't smiling. Like I picture her camping going, "Miles, there's this whole group of really big dogs smiling at me." And you say, "No, those are wolves posturing. They're going to keep." Look at that chimpanzee. Right. He's smiling. He's not smiling. Most animals, honestly, if they show you their teeth, right, they're sending you a negative message.
Right.
They're not smiling.
But I'm never going on one of those snorkeling adventures anymore. You get up really early. You're on the boat by 8 or 9, and then they serve you lunch, and they say, "We're going to bring you back by 1 or 2 or 3, right? Okay, well, after like 2 or 3 hours of this, you've seen everything in the cove.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, "I just want to get a drink. I'm stuck on this boat." You start looking at the shoreline. Like, how far is this away? Could I just swim over there? Maybe get a cab ride? I hate being stuck on those excursions, man. They absolutely drive me.
Because you can't do anything.
I know. And you're
just trapped.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're just there. And yeah, whatever.
Somebody here says, "I had the exact same thing happen to me, but it was in the water in Cozumel, Mexico, face to face with a barracuda."
And barracudas are crazy, too. I've seen those a few times. You just see a dot coming at you that kind of looks like the front of a moray eel, and then they take a 90-degree turn.
Right.
And you see a flash of silver, and then you see teeth, and there's typically, they run in schools, so there's 2 or 3 of them. So, like, when I saw them, it was just like, and, the positive thing, well, barracudas don't really attack humans. I don't care. I don't believe that. Like, at this point in time, how do you know? You know what I mean? Like, the one that guy died, no one told anybody because he died because he got eaten by a group of barracudas.
Now, what did you tell me? You were saying this yesterday to me in the office, that a buddy of yours, was in Florida or South Carolina, whatever, he operates the boat that does the parasailing.
Oh, no, it's Ocean City, Maryland.
Oh, okay. And when people go up parasailing, the one thing because to me, it always sounds like an awesome idea.
Right.
And I guess these people get up there and look down, and looking into the water, they realize not only that there's an S-ton of sharks around, but how close they are to the shore.
And that's it. So basically what happens is this. So a parasail, you get in a motorboat, and then the parachute's on the back. You're in the water. They speed up the boat like you're going to take off. If you're water skiing, you get lifted into the air, and then they take you about a half mile or a mile up the beach, which is a packed beach, and then they turn around and they bring you back. Now, he said the one thing that wigs people out the most is they see all these sharks. They can see them crystal clear. They see all the people in the water. They're screaming at people sometimes, but the boat, you can't hear anything because the motor's so loud, and you're really
high up there.
You're really high up there. And these people are losing their minds. They go, "Hey, get out of the water!" And the boat driver's like, "This happens all the time, I know." But the telltale sign is when you're done with this excursion, When they turn the boat around, they still need to drop you into the water. And after all these people see all those sharks and then realize they are being lowered like bait into the water just so they can get back on the boat because their trip is done, as soon as they hit that water, they swim like frickin' Mark Spitz as fast as they can to that boat like they're about ready to die because now they're terrified because they know what the hell's in there.
Right.
What happened to make you never want to do blank again? 206-421-ROCK.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chev.
99.9 KISW. The men's room is in progress.
A Mr. Blank question. What happened to make you never want to do blank again? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Cole. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
Happy Friday, guys.
Yeah, positive Friday.
So, I don't know about you guys, but I used to love Jägermeister. It's one of my favorite types of alcohol. Drank it straight all the time, right?
All right.
How else can you drink it is my question then. You know what I mean? Other than...
You can mix it into a shooter. We used to drink one called Redheaded Sluts.
Okay.
What was in the Redheaded Sluts? I've had Redheaded Sluts.
Jaeger bombs, you mix it with Sprite. That's really good.
All right.
But in this particular situation, me and my friends, being the young alcoholics that we are, we decided to each take a fifth of Jägermeister and pour the whole fifth into a bunch of Jaeger bombs and then proceed to drink them all in about 5 minutes.
Ooh.
Yeah, the hangover wasn't great, and the violent puking wasn't great either.
How long did it take for you to start feeling terrible?
Probably about 30 seconds after we finished them.
Also immediately. It was on.
Yeah, we started to feel sick about 30 seconds after, and then puking about 5 minutes later.
And is all of you guys doing this?
Just me and my best friend.
All right. And so after that, have you sworn off Jaeger or just Jaeger bombs?
Jaeger. I haven't had it since.
Okay. How long has it been?
A year and a half.
All right.
Worst I've seen anyone projectile vomit was a beer bong of Mad Dog 2020. It might have been Boone's Farm, fortified wine.
What did they expect?
But it wasn't the whole bottle.
It doesn't need to be.
It was probably the equivalent of a couple of beers, maybe. So it was close to the whole bottle, but still, I mean, it was immediate. I mean, it was just like, whoa!
Like you had to know that's a bad idea.
It was my idea.
I'm doing it, man.
I see people bong a lot of stuff.
I have to.
I see people bong like a mixed cocktail before.
Yeah, I mean, it's a horrible idea. Now, that said, I did it myself in the 20s. That's how I know for a fact it's a bad idea. But when you say it out loud, you know, now that I'm older and you say it out loud, I'm like, why did I say, that's a great idea?
All right, group poll here. You're at a party, someone's backyard, they have a keg, they also have a beer bong. Mm-hmm. You're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it again.
Yeah,
like the keg stand or the beer bong?
The beer bong.
Both.
You're doing both?
Because it's still beer.
Yeah, I still
if
think
they
I
start
can do
getting
it.
crazy and they're doing Jack Daniels, like, no. But as long as it's beer.
But what is normally the equivalent of one, or it's probably one beer or two beer. You probably just shoot one beer. Or two.
I mean, you can add more, but generally, it would just be one.
I was pretty good at that. That
right, because you could open your throat. Like, I don't mind doing beer bongs,
Maybe.
but it's the same exact, like, I just got to take big gulps. So it's like, sometimes, like, why don't we just chug it out of a can?
It's kind of, because something more fun about the beer bong. Even though you're right, it's the same thing. What exactly was in the Redheaded Slut? Because I never ordered it myself, but it's one of those things like, hey, man, we're getting around to Redheaded Sluts. I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm in, whatever.
It has been years. I'm not sure I remember. It's Jaeger. It just probably, is it grenadine that makes it red?
It just
are you looking it up?
It just seems like the licorice takes over everything when you're having Jaeger. You know what I mean? It's like black licorice.
I know,
just kind of overpowers.
But I will say the Redheaded Slut, from what I remember, it kind of kills that licorice taste a little bit.
Right. I don't think I'll ever do absinthe again. Based on the taste it leaves in your mouth for hours after. Like, you burp up absinthe, and just based on the alcohol percentage alone, It is a heavy-duty
and the problem with absinthe is this. It's always sold with the green fairy. And it's because, the old absinthe, as you always say, Ted, was cut with bad stuff. It's like cutting Coke with fentanyl, right? So it was garbage that they were drinking, and that's why you hallucinate and all that. When you make it right, it's just a horrible-tasting booze.
Exactly.
Well, and it does have some properties. By the way, Redheaded Slut, Jägermeister, peach schnapps, cranberry juice.
Okay, yeah.
True absinthe should have wormwood in it as well.
Correct.
Which has a little bit of a psychoactive ingredient. But you're right. That's why Van Gogh cut his ear off and stuff.
You know what else has a psychoactive? 100 proof.
Yeah, okay.
I like absinthe. I have a bottle in my house. Now that you say it.
You do like the taste?
Now, would you drip it over an ice cube and do all that stuff? Like put it on a fork or something if you just make
you got to put it on a little spoon and then the water, make it a little cloudier. But sometimes you just take a little sip of it. I'm alive.
Having to make you never want to do blank again. 206-421-ROCK.
Now I'm thinking about it. I might have a little nip of that tonight.
Why not?
Start the weekend out, right?
Yeah, this stomach's already screwed up.
Hello, David. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. Yeah, man. Positive Friday.
Right. So I was at the, back in the day, called Puyallup Fair. It's now the Washington State Fair.
Get out of here. When they make that announcement?
So I went on this ride. It was called the Rotor. You'd walk up to it, get onto the floor, and you stand against the wall. Well, I went into this ride, and one of the sides was being repaired under construction. The carpet wasn't sticking to the wall good enough. But there was no caution tape, nothing saying don't go on this side. And they got to balance it out because it spins so fast. So I just go pick my place on the wall, and ride gets to going, floor drops down. I start sliding with the carpet down, and as the floor comes up, it comes up on my foot and almost rips off my pinky toe and the toe next to it.
Jesus!
So I ended up having to it was only 8 stitches. I mean, it cut pretty much down to the bone, though. They stitched up my toes, and the fair contacted me several days later to see how I was doing or whatnot. And
they're checking on a lawsuit, bro. It's nothing to do with how you're doing, right?
But, they gave me a full day at the fair. We ended up doing a full day at the fair, friends, family, all the food, rides, everything.
Get out of here.
I didn't even look twice at that rotor, though. I tell you what, it was still there. No. But I didn't look twice at that thing.
You could have as many funnel cakes as you wanted, corn dogs, whatever the hell you wanted. You could eat it.
Oh, all the games, everything. I just had to go back to this little booth, like their main little booth, and just ask for more tickets, more fare bucks.
Oh, man.
They just kept handing them over for me, my friends, my family. I'm over here on crutches, because I got stitches in the bottom of the foot.
Well, how long were you aware that this was going to happen? Because you said, so it's one of those centrifugal force things you're supposed to stick to the wall, right?
Right.
You start sliding down with the carpet, and obviously no one else is sliding down because, it's designed that you don't do that. So did you know that bad news is coming your way?
Not at all. And, at the time I was probably 13. I mean, this happened 10, 15 years ago, So, as it slides down, as I'm sliding down, the floor is coming up, and I'm trying to push myself up off the floor to push myself back up because I'm below the floor line. And, I'm yelling. I'm like, hey, I'm sliding down. And they can't hear. Everyone's screaming and everything. And the ride operator on that one, he kind of overlooks you. He sits up high up in this little tower booth, and he looks down. And finally, I'm yelling, my foot's stuck. So then people are like, hey, stop the ride. And then he as he drops the floor down is when it started to tear my toes. Luckily, I was wearing tennis shoes because when I went to the hospital, the doctor said pretty much, well, if you're wearing flip-flops or any other kind of shoe, you probably would have lost several of your toes.
Yeah. The doctors love telling you the worst-case scenario. Right. You're already freaked out. Right. You're already there. Ooh, it could have been worse.
I would have milked it for everything. I want tickets to Tim McGraw tonight, too, when it's all said and done. I will say this. As far as that free pass on that kind of a day, when I used to take my kids there, and I'm not kidding you, I could almost look at my watch. Every hour, $100 would come out of my wallet.
Yeah.
I mean, for food, ridiculous. For tickets, for whatever, like, here's $40, here's $40, you guys, and then they just come running back to me like, how did this happen so fast? You were waiting in line for like 15 minutes.
Do they do an all-day pass? Because you're right, like, you get a certain number of tickets, right, and you've already kind of cleaned out your pockets.
I'm sure they do.
And then, like you said, especially with kids, man, in an hour, you're like, how have you ridden every ride here? But we need more tickets because no one takes cash. Mm-hmm. So you go back to the booth, and I get more tickets. And no matter what you tell kids, like, all right, guys, look, I got 50 more. There's 25. Don't come back. they're coming back. And you know goddamn well you're going to get them more tickets.
Yeah, you want to ride that? No, I don't. I'm going to go over there, see where they have those potato sacks, and you sit and go down that slide. Dad's doing that.
Dude, the Texas State Fair, that thing is massive. And we were there on the Saturday, like the last day, right? Mm-hmm. The Cotton Bowl's there, so Oklahoma and Texas are going to play in a few hours. But same thing, you have to get tickets to get anything. Right. Beer, food, rides.
Right.
So the lines are ridiculous. So we know we're going to leave soon, but we've waited through this line. So me, my brother, and Will, we buy all the tickets we can, each a person, and then we scalped them to other people in the line.
You did?
Oh,
would you charge double, or you just pay?
No, just $10 on top.
Oh,
dude, it's worth it.
Right.
If
and
I'm waiting in
Texas,
that line,
man, like I remember the first woman I walked up to had arguably the biggest diamond I've ever seen in person in a ring. And she's there with like her husband and 2 kids. So just like, hey, you guys want to wait in line? Like, we'll sell you these just for $10. And she just looks at him. It's like, pay him.
Yeah. It's funny with the fair, though, because I always say the one at Monroe, whatever the hell it is. They have this one ride, and it is intense. My daughter loves it. I will not do it again. I did it the first time with her, man, and I'm like, and the whole time, she just laughed. That is the funniest thing. All I could think is, I'm going to effing die, and it's really going to hurt. Like, you're not going to die suddenly. This thing's going to fall apart. It's break my bones. And it was a terrifying ride as far as I'm concerned, man. So that thing was done. And even the next year that we went, Daddy, I want to get on that ride. I said, knock yourself out. Are you getting on? I said, no. I told you that last year, man. Like, I'm not effing with you. I'm not getting on that goddamn ride again. It scares the living hell out of me.
Yeah, and the money thing, like, even as an adult, like, I mean, I've been to the fair, it's just 2 adults, and you end up spending a bunch of money. It's like on a normal Saturday afternoon, if I said, Miles, you're going to eat a turkey leg, corn, right? Like all that, you'd be like, that sounds insane. But at the fair, it's like, yeah, let's get another snack.
Let's keep eating. What happened to make you never want to do that again? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Ruggs. Welcome to the men's room.
Are you there, buddy?
Yeah, party hungry.
Hola.
So, what happened was, today happened, and I don't want to drive a truck anymore.
Why not? What happened?
Oh, so I got stuck with the downtown route, which not fun. And then I couldn't get a couple of deliveries off. Not fun. And then I had to try and deliver meth pipes to a customer. And that was an interesting experience.
Meth pipes?
Yes.
What do you mean you deliver meth pipes?
Well, somebody ordered a pallet of meth pipes. And, me being a truck driver, I have to try and deliver it.
Where do you deliver it to? Like a back alley, or is it like a legitimate store like Seattle's Best Meth Pipes?
It's like one of those outreach program places. I'm not going to say the name of it.
Okay, all right. That makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Look, I don't know what's going on downtown today, man, but I get to work today, and normally there's a little convenience store that is open in the lobby of our building. And as a smoker and somebody loads up on Gatorade, it's just my normal pilgrimage. Well, she closes on Fridays. I forget this, so the first thing I say to Miles this morning is, I have to go to 7-Eleven. Now, I understand. My problem is not with 7-Eleven itself. It has what I need. The problem are the people that are inside of the 7-Eleven, particularly this one. And it's just nonsense, and it's loud, and frankly, they're stupid, right? And I was like dealing with it. Well, today, it turns out, 7-Eleven itself was fine. There was no drama. I got in and out of there in no time. But on the way to, it's only 2 blocks away. As I'm walking down the hill to go to 7-Eleven, I see something sitting on the sidewalk, and I can't quite tell what it is. Then in my mind, I'm like, dude, that looks like a big pile of S. But it kind of doesn't, because that's not what S looks like traditionally. It had the consistency of like a Butterfinger, and it was really, really big, like larger than most. As I get close to it, I realize this is, in fact, a pile of S. And to remove all doubt, there's a pair of black boxer briefs right next to it. Ooh. Also partially covered in the S. Now, there's an alley 2 feet away from, like, if you got to go outside, man, can you at least hit the alley? This is on the sidewalk in front of the doorway to an apartment building. So I could not believe how disgusting this was. So a little bit later, Mike's like, hey, I'm going to run to Bartell. I'm like, do me a favor. Mike's like, well, what do you need? I don't need anything. I just need you to stay on the south side of the street until you need to physically cross over to corroborate what I saw.
Can't believe nobody got a picture of it.
I meant to.
I really didn't want to have a picture of that in my phone, man. Dude, that was disturbing.
I know. Mike's like, I was looking in the bushes, and I realized, no, it's just right there on the sidewalk. So my thought was, I never want to see that again.
Yeah.
And look, I've seen human excrement all over downtown, because apparently in Seattle, that's just what you do. But this was different poop. Do you know what I mean? Like when
I didn't see it.
Well, it's like when your dog eats something weird, their poop looks different than it normally does, right? You can see yarn in it or something like that.
I don't know how it came out of a human body.
Was that big?
It was, yes. Yeah, the shape of it did not make sense.
Well, remember, a human anus can expand to 8 inches.
It can, but the problem is that this wasn't exactly what I would call solid. It had a...
it was somewhere between.
Yeah. The viscosity level was
Okay.
not quite solid.
Thank you for volunteering, though, to go look at that on your wall.
Can't believe neither one of you got a picture. What happened to make you never want to do blank again? 206-421-ROCK.
Go look at it. You'll know why.
It's still there, probably.
Sure
I guarantee you no one's cleaned it up. I might take a picture at the next break. And we can post it and be like, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Guess who it is, Ted?
Big C?
James, welcome to the men's room.
Hey guys, happy Friday.
Hola, positive Friday.
Okay, so I was married. I woke up in a bathtub, covered in vomit and wet. My pants were off. My ex-wife was wondering what the hell was going on, if I can say that. I pulled out my phone, and I had an ex-girlfriend's husband texting me saying that I should never contact her again. And I have no idea what happened. The last thing I remember was drinking some absinthe on the porch with my buddy.
Aha! So all this happened after the fact. Now, did that lead to your wife then wanting to divorce you?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, it did. So how?
Oh, that was the moment.
One-shot deal. Why? Because you contacted your ex?
That was the beginning of the downturn.
What do you know?
I decided to keep drinking.
Do you know what you were saying to the ex?
I have no idea. I must have called her.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because yeah, I have no idea.
So what was? Did you get a text message back from her then husband, or did he call you personally?
No, he sent me text messages from his phone. I had to figure out who he was.
I see. Okay.
How long did it take you to figure out who he was?
Pretty quick. When I asked him who he was, he told me who he was.
I see. And was this the next morning? I mean, were you passed out for the entire night, or just a few hours, or what?
Oh, this was like 10 o'clock at night. So I was in college, and I was in a writing class, and my buddy and I decided to get some absinthe and try to do some creative writing. And that was like at, 2 o'clock. And, yeah, 10 o'clock comes by, my ex comes home from work, and I'm in the bathtub asleep.
Oh, well, I mean, that's the age where you do those things.
College, that story doesn't seem as crazy as your college.
Exactly. And the fact that you're calling your ex-girlfriend and she's already married at 21 years old. Right. Well,
I was 27.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah.
That's different. That's different.
I
mean, everybody does something.
27, I think you're still fine. Like, no one's going to give you real grief until you hit 30. Even though you're not a different person, somehow at 30, like, you should know better. At 27, it's like, dumbass.
Yeah, you still feel like you're 21.
You do.
All right. What happened to make you never want to do blank again? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Graham. Welcome to the men's room.
Boom, bitches.
Boo.
Okay, so it's funny. I was thinking about it, and it was 20 years ago today. I, for the first time, one and done, did acid. And it was Memorial Day weekend at a place called Beverly Dunes, east of the mountains. I don't know if you know where that is at.
Nope.
It's over by Vantage. Anyway, a bunch of buddies of mine were saying, hey, we're going to go camping, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So first night, Friday night, no problem, drinking, cool. And then a guy in an old AMC Hornet that he had carved flames in with a chainsaw. Mind you, this happened while we were there. Goes, hey, man, you want a dose? And I'm like, dose of what? He goes, oh, LSD. And I'm like, I've never done that. I'm 19 years old. Why not? And the first part was pretty cool. I don't know if you guys have ever done that, but the visuals that, Yeah, of course. Anyway, the visuals, all that going on. Then the sun starts to set, and there was 3 people that died that week, actually. People start driving from one campsite to another on, like, quads and stuff. One guy went through the windshield of a Bronco. Anyway, it just gets
hold on.
It's a big four-wheeling area.
No, I get that. What I'm saying, 3 people died in the vicinity you were in that weekend?
Yes, like I was like maybe 10, 20 meters away from like the helicopter that came and picked one of the guys up.
And you're tripping as this is going on?
Yes.
So where does your trip go when death starts happening?
So, so once the guy got injured and I saw that and I'm like really freaked out, so I walked off kind of out into the desert by myself. And of course I come across a couple who are looking to have some alone time and I don't know what to do. So I just stop and stare and they're like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And all I could think to say is, it's okay, man. It's beautiful. And they're like, get the hell out of here.
It's beautiful.
I ran back down. By that point, one of the local farmers, I don't know what this guy's deal was, he had brought out they have these cranes for stacking hay bales.
Yeah.
And he was giving people rides on it. And me being out of my mind, he's like, any volunteers? I'm like, I'll go. So I wrap my hand around this rope. He takes me, it shoots me up maybe 30 feet in the air in about 2 seconds. And there's a group of, I don't know, there's maybe 300 or 400 people there at this point, because they're all different campsites, and everybody's congregated around this giant bonfire. It was like Burning Man. Anyway, and everybody's staring at me. It's dead quiet, and all I said was, I'm on drugs. Let me down.
And did they let you down?
They let me down, and then I went to hide, so I hid in the acid dealer's trunk, and then he proceeded to run. This is where the second guy died. He ran over a guy while I was in hiding in the trunk.
Jesus.
That freaked me out more. So then I got out, went to my tent, and my friends thought it would be funny to mess with me and like scratch at the tent like there was monsters outside or something. And it was the most terrifying. It went from the most fun to the most terrifying experience, all in a matter of. And this is to say nothing of the all-female boxing championship that they had off to the side, and I mean, just insanity.
You were in the trunk of a car hiding, tripping on acid, while this car rolled over and killed another person?
Yes.
How do you know that? Did he stop? And then how did he know that you were in the trunk? Were you banging on it?
No, he didn't know I was in the trunk. I heard them run over the guy. I heard him scream, and then they stopped. And then my buddy ran over and saw it. He heard me banging on the trunk, let me out. We see this guy, his legs are all mangled and guts and everything, and we're like, and I just ran off. At that point, I mean, I don't know what more I can do. Okay. I feel like I played my cards at that point, and I wasn't winning any hands.
Now, brother, I want to say one thing to you.
Yeah.
None of this is the acid's fault.
That's a fact.
Like,
I'm just like,
Jesus
no more
Christ,
3-day weekends advantage for me.
This is not the acid. You're in a car that runs over and kills a man. Like, acid had nothing. Well, I mean, it may have affected the driver, but not you.
Yeah.
You just had a trip at a bad time.
Well, to me, that's the universe saying, hey, man, I know you wanted to have a good time, but I'm throwing you a lot of curveballs, and you're not good at hitting curveballs, so why don't you, stick to the high and tight stuff?
All right, that's fair enough. Cool. The universe, by the way, someone checks in and says, timeline-wise, I'm pretty sure I know the guy that got picked up by the helicopter that he's talking.
Damn. What happened to make you never want to do blank again? 206-421-ROCK.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.